Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a little more off the cuff. It's not going to be as structured as some of my other videos on Avatar, but I would like to speak about the live action Avatar Netflix show that's coming out. And I believe it's coming out pretty soon. I think it's going to come out maybe either, I think the rumors are it's going to come out either this year or in 2023. So I'm hoping that we see it soon because I would like to critique this. I would like to compare. If you guys, you know, when it comes out, I definitely would like to do like a full comparison of every episode versus the actual animated show. But I do want to talk a little bit about what I think about this and maybe like that this maybe isn't such a good idea. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else feels like that. And I'm not trying to hate on the show because we haven't seen it and I have to reserve judgment, right? But I have a strong feeling and I hope I'm wrong. And my intuition is very often wrong. So I hope this is one of those cases. I am kind of suspecting that this show is just not going to be as good as we hope it's going to be. And I don't think it's going to be as bad as like M. Night Shyamalan's, disaster movie. Like, I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I do think it's gonna not be as good as the animated series. I mean, how could it possibly be as good as? I mean, to be fair, there are problems with even Avatar: Last Airbender that you could fix, right? But the reason why I'm suspect of it, right? I'm a little sus, is because the original creators left due to creative differences, right? And I think now we kind of know more because of Avatar Studio. I think that now that there is the announcement of Avatar Studios and Nickelodeon, I think that it makes a little more sense. Like, it's not just, they had other stuff going on, right? So, like, if Avatar Netflix was the only thing, maybe they would stay on and, like, try to work it out. But I think maybe it shows that there was more of a motivation for them to leave. Like, there was more of something that they would rather do with Avatar, which is definitely something I would rather see with Avatar. No offense to Netflix, 1,000% I would rather see Nickelodeon have give Avatar the proper due diligence that it's needed for 15 years or however long it's been since the original series. It's been almost 20 years now. Jesus. Since the original series, Avatar Last Airbender, came out, it's always been, unfortunately, not super well taken care of by Nickelodeon, just compared to how big of a property it is. I mean, obviously it's a TV show and it gets its own, favoritism in its own way because it makes a lot of money. But now it's finally, I think, becoming a situation where they're investing in it. They're investing a lot of money. They're going to really try to get onto Avatar, creating a lot more shows, but it's going to take a while, I'm pretty sure. But they're working on it. And I imagine that was already in the talks, even back with when they were working on the other show with Netflix. But the thing is that with Netflix, I don't think it's just that they had Avatar Studio in the back. I don't think it was just that, because if it was just that, right, I think that they would have maybe been able to say, like, hey, we're working on other project. Maybe they couldn't say that, right? But they said creative differences, right? I mean, there is a pretty stark way. I mean, they could have even signaled in a way like, hey, we're leaving, but this isn't like a diss on the show. We just think that the show would be better, handled. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that that's what happened. It seemed more like they weren't happy with the way that the show was going to go. And I think it's because we're hearing a lot of details about a lot of characters getting casted and there being expanded roles for characters, which just to me is like, why? Like, there's already so much in the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender compared to what is a normal now, like, runtime for a Netflix show. You can't fit all of that. You're already going to have to make cuts. So they're already going to have to make cuts onto Avatar season 1 when they, which, to be fair, is that's the most fillery, I guess, if you want to call it. Like, there are cuts you can make, like, obviously the Great Divide, right? But the problem is, as we go forward, right, there's going to be not as many opportunities, right, as to be as liberal with your cuts, you know? And I think as time goes on, what we see with certain shows is that they have their own take on some of it, and then they decide to go kind of in another direction, explore a different, which could work, right? That could work if the original creators were on board with it, and if the original creators were kind of headlining it, because then that would give you a different perspective. It would give you, this is maybe could be, I don't want to judge the show before it's come out, right? But I know that making a 1-to-1 remake, it's like, what's the point, right? I don't think that that's going to happen. So what are they going to do? And so to me, what they're going to do is they're going to have the show, right? They're going to put the most crucial parts in. Obviously, it's going to be better produced, have more CGI budget than M. Night Shyamalan had, right? But the thing is that, is it going to be like a super faithful adaptation? Like, probably not. And is it going to be better than the actual animated show? Like, I'm doubtful. They were very lucky to get a lot of talented voice actors in the animated series. There's a lot of amazing. They have great Delisle, is that her name? And obviously like Jack DeSena and Dante Bosco, like all of those people. All of those people are amazing voice actors, right? And I'm not trying to diss any of the child actors, right? But child actors are of a different caliber than adult actors. And I'm a little concerned, I'm just saying, a little bit concerned about how it's going to be produced into the show, like how it's going to show up in the show. And I imagine these kids are going to be huge fans of Avatar, so it's not going to be that's not going to be an issue. They're going to understand the characters 100%. The problem I think I am a little concerned with is that, like, how are you going to be able to deliver Sokka, right? I think that's what was, there was already that leap. There was already a huge leap into live action, right? But to also then you had to deliver the authenticity of these characters who we already saw in a visual medium. We already saw in the animated show. We know who these characters are. Like, we understand who they are. There's no, like, they weren't a book character that they're adapting. They're not a movie from, a show from a thousand years ago nobody's seen. It's a show that everyone's seen and everyone knows. So that's why it, to me, is like, it's a huge ask. It's a huge ask for a child actor to accomplish. This would be a challenge for any actor, right? This would be a huge challenge, in my opinion. And, like, when have we seen remakes really work, right? Like, book adaptations work, right? But when has, like, a TV series animated adaptation ever really worked? I don't know. To me, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably ignorant. It's probably worked 100 million times. Here's 1,000 examples. Good. I'm glad. Give me them. But to me, I have concerns, right? I have concerns, and I think I'm justified, right? And I think I'm gonna hold off, right? I mean, I'm not holding off on making a video about it because I want to signal. I want to give a little, hey, what's going on here? But I am gonna obviously I want to watch the show, but I want to see the first trailer also. Like, I think that's gonna really give us a signal about what the show is, what it's gonna be about, who exactly, what kind of changes are they gonna be making. If you ask me, I would imagine the trailer is probably gonna be trying to appeal to fans as much as possible, so it's probably not gonna show like the things that they cut or the things that they're not gonna be. I mean, how could you even know all the stuff that they would have to cut, right? But, like, the idea that they're giving Kurik an extended role in the show. Like, okay, are we gonna see him go to the spirit world and, like, face Ko and his wife and that whole thing? I mean, we kind of saw everything we needed to see in the show. They were pretty spatial about the time, and I'm not, obviously there's ways around it, but, like, I'm concerned. Like, I'm concerned because I think that inevitably what this means is there's gonna have to be cuts somewhere down the line, right? And then going into the future, then what does that mean for, like, season 2 and season 3, which is, like, I don't know. It just could, I don't know. And they're gonna, And then also it's like I don't have faith that they can pull. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't really. From what I've seen from the supplementary material, I hate to say it, it's not up to the same par as the TV show. It's just not. It doesn't capture the essence, the spirit. This is just in my opinion. I've read a lot of the comics. I've read a lot of, and I enjoy a lot of them too, right? But there's also like just not entirely the kind of care that the original Brian and Mike put into their shows, and why I fell in love with Avatar: Last Airbender, why I fell in love with Legend of Korra. So to me, like I am not feeling it, and to me, it's also like why would they leave, right? I think they would leave because of something like this, because they were cutting characters and they were saying, hey, we want this character to have an extended role or whatever, we want to explore this thing, and I don't know, you know what I'm saying, like we want Kurek to have his whole episode. We want them to have an episode of Kurek halfway through, and half of the episode is just looking at Kurek and his wife and this tale, because we want to show it first. We have to show this iconic thing that nobody's seen, and it'll be so iconic, whatever. Like, but it's like, okay, but does that make sense for the way that this show? I mean, if you're making why not just make the Kurek show? Like, why do this? That is my question, right? How much context do you need? Because really, all you need to know is there was a past Avatar who, Ko the face stealer, whatever. And it's almost good that there's less information. It's almost like, okay, that's fine that I don't know everything about Kurek. That is kind of the that's kind of the feeling I have, right? And it's like, you know, I don't know. See, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's what you guys want to see. Maybe you guys want to see more correct, right? Okay, but I didn't want to like kill the hype. I don't want to kill the hype. I think most Avatar fans, I think the casual people more so will be more satisfied with whatever. But I think some of us Avatar fans, we have pretty high standards. I know a lot of people didn't like Legend of Korra as much. I think there's problems with that series. It's not perfect, but I very much enjoyed Legend of Korra. And so I think most of us, right, even the ones that didn't like Korra as much, I think most of us would kind of rather see like them do something different, because I think most of us also understand that some of the downsides of Legend of Korra were not the creative side. The creative side had all kinds of ideas, right? And all kinds of ways that they could have done the series, but it was more so down to what they had, what the resources were that they had available. They were stripping the creators more and more and more Nickelodeon because they didn't like the content they were producing or whatever. And obviously we know with like Korasami, there was that whole situation where they didn't want to, I don't know why, but they didn't want to air it. They were nervous about whatever, which is like, why even greenlight it? Then just say no to it, right? If it's not good enough, then just say no. But they put it in, and then it's kind of half baked, and we like Korasami, okay, but it's a little half baked. We have to always admit it's a little half baked, but yeah, I think in now we're living in a time where people want to see Avatar. They're gonna give the creators full control. They know that they know what they're doing. I think they learned their lesson with Legend of Korra, that the creators definitely should be the ones in charge. And I think we're gonna see amazing series come out of that. Amazing, probably better than Korra, like, because they're gonna have better resources. Which I loved Korra, so it's not a downside. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Oop. I'm not saying it is a bad thing. Yeah, what more is to say in this? I can't really say anything else. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave a like. Please tell me what you guys believe about this Avatar Studios. Maybe I'll break down like the cast. Although I don't really know any of their you gotta like know their acting skills, right? I don't know any of them, but it's fine. I could do that. Yeah, I think it's good. I think Netflix has. Let's end on a positive note. I think Netflix they have more respect for the original franchise, purely because of how bad M. Night Shyamalan. Let's be clear, not really because they care. I mean, maybe there's people at Netflix that care. Probably not. Mostly because they saw how horrible the M. Night Shyamalan one went. And I'm afraid they might not understand all of the problems that were, like, just how many problems were wrong with that movie, right? It wasn't just about the cast, which was problematic, whatever, we got that. And it wasn't just about like all of the cuts that they had to make. It was the fundament or the amount of CGI they had, right? Or like anything like that. What it came down to was that M. Night Shyamalan did not have respect for the original series, right? You know, and that was clear with how he handled it. He allowed so much change to happen, right? Because he wanted to imprint something onto it that it was unnecessary. And so for me, it's like, why else would Netflix create an entire show unless they wanted to do kind of the same thing? The positive out of this is that Netflix has that exact example, and we've seen Netflix take an example like a series of unfortunate events. We've seen them have a kind of a bad movie that didn't really go anywhere, that was really, and then kind of transform it into a satisfactory-ish. I wouldn't call the series of unfortunate events Netflix show outstanding. That's also what not kind of gives me worries, because it's like, if that's the quality they gave to a series of unfortunate events, then what are they going to do to Avatar? Because Avatar is like 1,000% better than that show. It's like, why even compare? I don't know. But but they have that example, right? So they have that example, and they know what they're doing. They got a lot of money. They know what they're doing. Lots of money is going to get dumped into the show. But at the end of the day, we're going to see if it's all worth it, right? If they really deliver on that. Because I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to outdo the original, right? That's going to be a very hard feat. And if it's not outdoing the original, if it's even just kind of the same, there's problems. Okay. Go ahead, leave a like, leave a subscription. I'll talk to you guys all in the next video.